Welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. Today we have David Mathews of David Mathews Outfitters on the line. How you doing, David?
Good. Glad to be here with you, Jay.
Yeah, for sure. So what's the scoop over in New Mexico, that archery season? I wonder if you even like elk hunting anymore.
Man, I'll tell you what, it definitely is not for the faint of heart over there this year. It was a grind. But I mean, we still did pretty good, for what the cards were dealt. But it was a grind. It was pretty tough over there this year.
Let's talk about kind of first, so the listeners know, where were you? I'm sure you were in multiple units, but where were you focusing?
This year, mainly, we were focusing our archery hunts in Unit 15 and Unit 16 A and D, which are the prime units over there on the Gila. And they were, it started very slow, and it did not pick up, very much at all during those hunts.
So let's talk about first the antler growth. What was your perspective of antler growth compared to other years where you've been over there?
I think first off, I think the antler growth was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it's not our prime years. It's not awesome. I definitely think there was a hit due to the drought. I think those bulls took a hit to their antler growth a little bit this year. So,
what about bugling?
Oh, our bugling, pretty much non-existent during the first season, which is the September 1st through the 14th. And it started to pick up a little bit on the second season, but very little bugling in the evening time during the second seasoning, and you had maybe an hour or so in the morning to get in and work in on some bulls.
I noticed you guys knocked a couple of bulls down. With the bulls that you were able to get with clients, how was your success?
Our success was down a little bit this year. I think everybody, I'm thinking but one guy had the opportunity to shoot just a decent bull. The one guy had no opportunity to shoot, a decent bull at all. So, but other than that, I mean, with the like I said, the cards we were dealt, I think we still fared fairly decent. Some of them were grinded out to the last minute on the last day, but we were still able to knock a few down. So,
as far as years you've seen, is this the toughest year you've ever seen in New Mexico, or is it tied with others, or not quite as bad as some?
This has to be, in my 20 years over there, has to be the toughest I've seen it. It never progressed. It never progressed into what I would say, our normal rut action, or even 50% of what our normal rut action is, by the end of archery season. I'll be really curious to see with these rifle hunts coming up if it actually carries into those rifle hunts when that time of year they're normally winding down fairly quick.
So you could anticipate, you're kind of waiting to see if potentially the youth firearm season and then the first and second rifle seasons, do you think there's a chance that there might actually be some bugling just because they didn't do much in September?
I think if they're going to rut this year, I think that it's going to happen during those hunts. There's a lot of speculation out there on why they never really kicked off and started going. And my own thoughts are, I have my own thoughts on it also, and I just wonder with the drought that we were, that we had, those cows, calving and not having enough food and enough water. I think it might have slowed their progress, or even stopped the progress of going into estrus this year over there, just because it took everything that they had to keep those new calves alive this year during that drought.
Yeah, it's I've been hearing across the board about what you're saying for sure. What about, did you do any deer hunts over in New Mexico, and were the deer affected drought, was the antler growth affected on the deer antlers?
The deer antlers are affected also. It's not, like I said, it's not terrible, but it's not optimal either. But we haven't started our deer hunts over there. We've done a lot of scouting for some of the governor tag stuff over there, and we've turned up some really good bucks. Just not the one yet. But I think that'll come when a lot of those deer start migrating into some of those really good units. But as far as what we've seen, we do think that the deer have suffered a little bit from the drought over there also, but it's not super terrible antler growth.
I had a question come in from one of the Instagram followers wanting to know your outlook for the Arizona Strip this year and what you're seeing on the Strip.
My outlook for the Arizona Strip this year is across the board. It's down. It's down. I wouldn't say significant, but it's down quite a bit. There are still some really good bucks out there. We have some really some cool bucks and some big bucks that are still on camera. So there is still a hit list of bucks that are going to be over 200 inches, but our hit list of bucks our list of bucks that are over 200 inches is quite a bit smaller this year than it is generally, throughout all of the other years.
Looking forward on your schedule coming up, I know you've just come off a brutal archery season. What is your schedule as far as guiding and hunting over the next couple of months? I assume you've got some New Mexico stuff, and then you'll head to the Strip, or what's your plan?
Yes, sir. Yep, we have some New Mexico rifle elk seasons coming up, youth and the general rifle season over there. After that, we'll go back to the early Kaibab. We've got a couple hunts, and then at the same time as the early Kaibab, we've got some of those late 2B rifle deer hunts. And then as soon as those wrap up, then we'll see the Strip for both 13B and A. And then once the Strip winds up, then we finish up, pretty much on our late Kaibab hunts, and then we'll do maybe a couple Coues deer hunts in Arizona. But that'll wind up our 2018 season, along with pounding it out during the month of December in New Mexico, looking for a governor tag deer.
Gotcha. You speak of the Kaibab. How's things looking up on the Kaibab?
I think the Kaibab overall fared better than everywhere else around. I mean, antler growth on the Kaibab looks awesome. We've got some awesome bucks on trail camera. We've personally seen some awesome bucks on up there, and I really think that the Kaibab is going to shine over the Strip, maybe even this year. I just think the Kaibab really fared a lot better than everywhere else.
Interesting. Let's take a quick break here, but I want to ask you dive in a little bit more about the Kaibab. I've got a couple questions. I want to thank the sponsors of this podcast. I want to thank GoHunt.com Gear Shop, and I want to thank Cody Nelson, who's the new optics manager. And if you have any optics needs at all, binos, spotting scopes, rifle scopes, tripods, etc., you can give Cody, the optics manager at GoHunt Gear Shop, a call at 702-847-8747, extension 2, or you can send him an email that he will answer directly at optics@gohunt.com. I also want to thank Kuiu.com for their sponsorship of this podcast, and I want to thank Canyon Coolers. And if you use the J. Scott promo code, you're going to get a 10% discount there at canyoncoolers.com. David, is the Kaibab, in your opinion, has it bounced back? I know it was struggling for a few years, and I've been hearing over the last year or maybe two that the Kaibab is getting better. I'm curious your thoughts on that.
I really, really think that the Kaibab has turned the corner for the better.
Both the west and the east side, both sides?
Both sides. I really think. You know, a lot of those bucks on the east side will end up on the west side. You know, just as far as the migration route for the winter range. But even the east side has seemed in the last 5 or 7 years to increase in deer numbers and quality over there on that side also. I mean, there's always been a few good bucks over there, but now you know, we're starting to see more than average on the quality and numbers. So I really think that it's turned the corner for the better up there on both sides.
So looking like at that 12A West, that late hunt, with the Kaibab turning the corner, is that a hunt that you really, really look forward to? Whereas maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was, you know, kind of just another hunt. Is there a lot more anticipation, you know, on years like this?
Yeah, definitely a lot more anticipation, especially on a year like this when we know, you know, throughout northern Arizona and northern New Mexico what we're facing deer-wise. It's almost like our gym this year, you know, as far as getting to hunt big bucks and the possibility of some big bucks, you know. I really look forward to it. I know last year we got on and you know, we had some opportunity even with a miss on a giant, you know, that's still alive on the Kaibab. It's just we're really looking forward to the possibility of that deer plus a few others that we have on camera. You know, what they could end up this year down on the winter range.
That's awesome. A couple questions. I know I've talked to you before. What cameras are you running? What cameras do you like the best right now?
Right now I'm running the Stealth. I've got a lot of the G26s. I really like that camera over the 34 or the G34 or the G30. I think at close range, you know, at closer than 15 feet or so, those G30 and G34, they kind of whitewashed everything. You know, you don't get to see the definition of the animal's face or any of that. It's just, I mean, the infrared, you know, is so bright on it that it just turns everything white. And with the G26, you know, it doesn't seem to wash it out as bad at close range, and you get more definition and those type of things.
That's interesting. Here at the OT6 Ranch, I've got about 150 trail cams, and 125 of them are the G34 Pros.
Yeah.
And I do notice at night I get a lot of white. You know, white. I don't have a lot of experience with trail cams till I got here. It's, you know, totally private, and I don't feel like I'm interfering with anybody's hunt or anything. But I do get a lot of whitewash photos. So the 26, I believe, is an even cheaper camera. So you're saying image quality is even better?
I think so, and like I said, I think it's because you have the less infrared. You know what I'm saying? So at closer range. Or at further range, you know, you can't go wrong with that 34 or the 30 at further range because it lights it up a little bit further range. But that G26, when you got it set in there close and you're trying to get those real high quality close-ups, I think the 26, in my opinion, is better. I've got a lot of the 34s and the 30s. And I've noticed I'll even set them side by side, and I think that the 26 at closer range provides a better picture quality than the 34 or the 30. Obviously, at far range, you want that 34, you know, but at close range, I think you can't go wrong with that 26 right now.
What do you typically run as far as cards? Are you running 16s or, you know, 32s? What are you running in your camera?
I have most of my cards, I would say 50-50 right now. I'm running 8s and 16s.
Okay.
You know, and then obviously in the 4Ks we're running 32s, but most of the cards we have, you know, depending on the traffic that we have, we'll have either an 8 or a 16 in them.
Okay. Okay. I know your time's valuable. I caught you on the side of the road. I want to give you a chance to let people know how they can get a hold of you, and if you have any available hunts for this fall, please feel free to shout out if you've got any openings or anything you want to fill up. and let people know how they can reach out and get you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can reach me. The best way to reach me this time of year is probably on my cell phone. Number to that is 928-300-6405. And shoot me a text. Texts come in more frequent than even voicemails and that type of thing. So shoot me a text or voicemail, and I'll get back as soon as I can. A lot of times we're out in the woods with no service, especially some places like the Arizona Strip where we may not even have cell phone reception for 3 to 5 days. So, that's probably the best way to reach me right now, or you could shoot me an email at davidmatthewsoutfitters.com, and Mathews is spelt with 1 T. And those ways, if you guys want to reach out to me in those ways, those will be my fastest response as of right now. We do have availability on some of the Arizona deer hunts. If you've drawn and you would like to book, give us a call, and we'd love to chat with you. Even if you guys decide not to book with us, we still love to chat with you. So.
Well, David, I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and I know your old friend that's passed away, Marvin James. I know he'd be super proud of the job that you've done over the years since he's not with us anymore. That. And love following you on Instagram as well, and you're just a super solid guy, and I appreciate you spending a little time with us. Sorry the New Mexico archery season was a rough one, but I'm hearing across the board most guys are saying it's the worst they've ever seen.
We did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just excited to see how your deer hunts turn out and the rest of your year, and just really appreciate you pulling over and spending a little time with us, and look forward to maybe chatting after the little later in the season and see if big Governor's tag buck hits the ground and some of these other things you got going.
Okay, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Everything that you guys do over here at J. Scott Podcast. It's definitely a for sure listen.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks so much. God bless. I'll catch you later. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Jay.